Chapter number 4. Land. Indians perceive their motherland as Janani Janmabhoomi Swargadapi Garyasi. This means the land that has given us birth is our mother. It is like heaven, and we must adore and honor it as such. In Indian mythology and religious beliefs, land is treated as holy, as is water, air, and fire. They are treated at par with gods and goddesses. They fulfill our earthly needs such as home, clothes, food, etc. Thus, the motherland takes care of us and nurtures us. The world population is increasing by leaps and bounds. Yet till now the earth has been able to sustain us. But for how long? It is our duty to adhere the environment-friendly measures while practicing agriculture or making any kind of land use. Use of insecticides should be limited and chemical fertilizers should not be used at all. Use of biofertilizers is a good way to control soil erosion and encourage crop rotation along with the production of pulses to enhance soil richness. Suman is playing ball with her brother Sarthak. They are throwing the ball by turns and running to pick it up. Suman throws the ball on the roof of her house. From there, Sarthak throws it on the street that is uneven and rough. The ball rolls over the street and drops in the field nearby. The field's land is wet and planted with paddy. Both children wade their way through the water and reach on the other side, where the land is barren. This land is hard and shows cracks on its surface. It is pinching Suman's soul and she wants to play elsewhere. The children then start playing near the forest land where there is a tall grass and trees all around. The land here is softer and full of vegetation. The voice of wild animals scares the children and they run towards their village. They come across their school and finally decide to play in its playground. Here, the land is suitable for running and playing, and Suman and Sarthak spend the next 2 hours throwing the ball and catching it. In the above paragraph, we see that there are different kinds of lands and landscapes, and each is used for specific purpose. Land use differs on the basis of where you live and what you experience every day. For village dwellers, the land is generally used either for agriculture or for grazing of animals, or for constructing ponds, etc. In cities, land is used for constructing roads, buildings, neighborhoods, industrial areas, transport, parking facilities, shopping malls, garbage dumping grounds, and so on. In mountainous areas, the land is used for forestry, mining, grazing grounds, steppe farming, and mountain roads. Different types of land. Forest land. The area of land covered with dense vegetation, tall trees and some natural water sources are called forest lands. Man-made animal reserves and prohibited areas of jungles also fall in this category. Agricultural land. Land on which crops of various kinds are grown for local consumption or for the larger market is called the agricultural land. Barren land. The land that is unfit for most kinds of plant growth and cannot be used for agricultural purposes is called a barren land. For example, mountain peaks, marshes, etc. Agricultural wasteland. Barren lands that can be converted for agricultural use are called agricultural wasteland. Grazing land. Naturally occurring or earmarked by humans. The land areas that are utilized for grazing by wild animals and domesticated animals respectively are called grazing lands. Orchard land. The land on which fruit trees are grown for commercial purposes are called orchard lands. Garden land. Lands marked with boundary walls within cities that are planted with grass in the middle and with trees and flowering bushes around it are called garden lands. Fallow land. These are lands on which crop rotation is practiced by farmers. Old fallow land. This land is left vacant for 5 years or more by farmers to restore its fertility for the next crop. Land for other uses. Such land is used for the construction of residential neighborhoods, transport facilities, hospitals, schools and colleges, industries, shopping areas, roads and mining, or constructing ponds, dams or canals. Of the above types of lands, the agricultural land is the most important for the Indian economy. As per an estimate, 97% of the Indian rural population is still dependent on agriculture. Two main agricultural practices. Subsistence agriculture. The crops grown in this type of agriculture are meant for consumption by the farming family, with nil to very small proportions kept aside for selling in the market. Traditional farming instruments are used in this type of agriculture. This is prevalent in India. Commercial agriculture. In this type of agriculture, crops are grown with an aim to sell them in the market and earn profit. This agriculture practice originated in America and Canada and is now practiced in most Western societies. The field areas are vast and modern equipments, many of which work with electricity, are used. Grazing lands also play a vital role in a country's economy. Many countries like Argentina, New Zealand, Australia and Denmark have grown their economies on the basis of animal rearing, for which grazing lands are required. Grazing lands are also located near water sources like rivers, ponds, dams, etc. These water sources facilitate the growth of lush green grasslands. No more. SRI technique, system of rice intensification, is an environment-friendly agricultural technique that produces rice many more times by using lesser amount of water. Another important use of land is for mining purposes. The export of important minerals is a source of income for many countries around the world. Other uses of land for the growth of any economy are for tourism purposes, recreation parks, animal safari lands, environmental and wellness retreats, protected areas and sanctuaries. Land is categorized into two parts on the basis of its ownership or based on who possesses it. Privately owned. This land is owned by an individual or family and can be used for their exclusive purpose or lent out to general public for use. Public land. Public land is generally owned by the government and can be used by all citizens. Gardens, forests, playgrounds, hospitals, cinemas, etc. are examples of public land. Many a time, the landless people who can be migrating tribals or nomads use forests to graze their animals.